All right, let's dive right in. If your company runs on SAP or Oracle, you know it's a massive, massive investment. But what if I told you that the ongoing cost of that investment might actually be holding you back? Today, we're going to look at a huge decision that a lot of leaders are facing right now, making the switch to third-party enterprise software support.
I mean, this is the question, isn't it? It's the one that keeps CIOs up at night. You got these incredible plans for digital transformation, for moving to the cloud, for all these projects that could drive some serious growth. But where's the money going to come from? For so many companies, the biggest roadblock to innovation isn't that lack of ideas. It's that the funds are completely locked up in just keeping things running.
And here's the stark reality of that roadblock. For a typical IT shot, a staggering 90% of the budget, 90%, goes to just keeping the lights on. That leaves this tiny sliver, just 10%, for the strategic projects that can actually, make you money or grab market share. It's not enough to stay competitive. No way.
So, most leaders look at that annual maintenance fee from their vendor as just a cost of doing business. It's fixed, it's unavoidable, right? Well, what the data shows is that fee is just the most obvious part of a much, much bigger problem. The real costs, they're often hidden right under the surface.
Okay, check this out. This visualizes the whole thing perfectly. Above the waterline, yeah, you've got your annual fees. We all see that. But look below the waterline. This is where it gets crazy. You've got the cost of forced upgrades you don't even need, paying extra just to support your own custom code, and all the wasted time your team spends on self-support because the vendor's model is just too slow or doesn't apply. You add all that up, and it can easily more than double what you thought you were spending on maintenance.
And listen, this isn't just some theory. This quote from a CIO at a major chemical company, this says it all. They were looking at a multi-million-dollar forced upgrade that gave them almost zero business value. It's a story we hear all the time, this deep frustration with the vendor calling all the shots.
So it all comes down to this. You're at a strategic crossroads. Do you keep going down the path the software vendor has paved for you, with all its forced marches and priorities that might have nothing to do with your actual business goals? Or do you take back the wheel and forge your own path, one that's driven purely by what your business needs?
And that alternative path? That's third-party support. The model is pretty simple. An independent company, a specialist, takes over all the support for your enterprise software. And the value proposition is really clear. Deliver better, more relevant service, often including stuff the vendor won't touch, like your custom code, for a way lower price.
So, how much lower are we talking? Well, when you factor in all those hidden below the waterline costs we were just looking at, companies that make the switch see an average total maintenance savings of 75%. Let that sink in for a second. 75. That's a number that can completely change the game for an IT budget.
And this isn't just one industry either. Look at the data from this study. It was validated by the analyst firm Valeer, by the way. A $12 billion financial services firm saved 91% on their people self-support. A big snack manufacturer saved 76% on SAP. Even a police department in the UK cut their costs by 89%. The pattern here is, it's crystal clear.
I love this slide because it just lays out the two different worlds so perfectly. On one side, you've got the vendor's roadmap. That often means being pushed into upgrades that really serve their product strategy, not yours. But on the other side, you have a business-driven roadmap. And that means you upgrade only when it makes sense, when there's a real ROI. It lets you focus your people and your cash on the stuff that actually moves the needle for your business.
So let's just recap the big wins here. You optimize your total cost of ownership, obviously. You get to keep your current stable systems running for years, maybe even a decade or more. You can immediately free up cash to accelerate investment in real innovation. And this is crucial, you keep your strategic flexibility for whatever comes next, instead of being locked into one vendor's vision of the future.
Okay, but let's be real. A decision this big, it's not a slam dunk. It comes with some serious questions, and you have to do your homework. This isn't just about saving a buck. It's about making a smart, sustainable choice. So, what are the potential risks? What are the realities you really need to be thinking about?
Well, the third-party support market has really grown up. And according to sources like Gartner, it's pretty much dominated by two main providers, Remedy Street and Spinnaker Support. Understanding the key differences between them, and really importantly, the legal landscape that they operate in, is a huge part of your valuation. And hey, for a balanced view, it's always smart to see what the players say about each other. This quote is from Spinnaker Support, and it points directly at a well-known risk factor, the long-running legal battles between Remedy Street and Oracle. That history is a critical piece of the puzzle that any potential customer has to look into.
So, how do you navigate all this? Simple. You have to ask the tough questions. Think of this as your essential checklist for any provider you're looking at. How exactly do you handle IP compliance? What's your financial situation look like? How specifically do you support our unique custom code? What's your process for delivering critical tax and regulatory updates? And hey, can I talk to some of your current customers? The answers will tell you everything you need to know.
Okay, so you've got the lay of the land. Now for the final, most practical question. How do you actually make this decision inside your own company? Well, we can look at what the CIOs who've already gone down this road have to say.
They basically suggest this clear 4-step playbook. First, calculate. Get brutally honest about the true value you're getting for all that money. Second, challenge the status quo. Don't just upgrade because your vendor says it's time. If there's no business case, push back. Third, demand better value, whether it's from your current vendor or a new one. And finally, and this is the most important part, have a plan to reinvest every dollar you save to drive a real competitive advantage.
And this quote just brings it all home. This isn't just about saving some cash in the IT department. As this CIO says, this one decision let them reallocate 10% of their entire IT budget. And with that money, they were able to directly fund and drive the #1 priority of their CEO. Now that is strategic impact.
So we'll leave you with this to chew on. Right now, do you see that massive ERP support bill as just an unavoidable sunk cost you have to pay every year? Or could it actually be the untapped, hidden source of funding for your company's next big innovation? The answer to that question could really change everything.